Dean Hurst, the convocation has gathered.
Good afternoon. I'm Eric Hurst. I'm the Senior Associate Dean for Faculty Affairs at the McCombs School of Business. Please have a seat. You don't want it's not going to be standing room the whole time. It's my honor and pleasure to welcome our fall 2018 graduating class, their families and friends, to this commencement ceremony. When you first arrived at UT and the 40 acres, you came with hopes of experiencing a first-rate business education and launching a bright future. We on the faculty and staff of the McCombs School hoped that you would be dedicated students, that you would display noble characteristics of curiosity, compassion, and leadership, that you would demonstrate initiative and an entrepreneurial spirit, you would maintain the highest of ethical standards. We also hope that you'd go on to change the world. After all, what starts here changes the world. So no pressure. I'm pleased to say that you've exceeded our expectations in every respect. We're very proud of you and delighted to have you carry forth the reputations of the McCombs School of Business and the University of Texas at Austin into the world. I would now like to introduce our commencement marshals. Mr. Herb Miller, Senior Lecturer in the Department of Marketing, and Dr. Wen Wen, Assistant Professor in the Department of Information, Risk, and Operations Management. This year's student speaker is Luke James Heffernan. Luke is a graduating management major with a philosophy minor, originally from Katy, Texas. Luke has dedicated much of his time to serving the university as a resident assistant at the Jester West dormitory. He also served as an invested student leader in his campus church, where he co-founded an organization for first-year students. Outside of the 40 acres, Luke enjoys rock climbing, writing short stories, playing and composing songs on the piano. After graduating, Luke will be working in Madison, Wisconsin with Epic Systems' Quality Assurance Team. Here to deliver a message on behalf of this graduating class is Luke James Heffernan.
Welcome, graduating class of 2018, and thank you everyone here in support of us, family, faculty, and friends. So, I'm giving this speech because I've actually had the unique privilege of traveling 50 years into the future, re-enrolling at UT, and coming back to tell you the story. Now, they said I couldn't discuss stock prices or lottery ticket numbers, but I could tell you about my experience. In 2068, I was admitted to the University of Texas for a degree in creative writing, which was the only career path not replaced by artificial intelligence. Once I got to campus, I went straight to the McCombs building, which had actually been renamed after someone here in the crowd, but because of the non-disclosure agreement, you're gonna have to wait a couple decades to find out who that is. So as I walked into the, let's say, McConaughey School of Business, I noticed this grand wall covered in plaques with all the graduating classes, even ours. And it made me stop and think, like truly think, what does it mean to get a degree from this school? So I continued my walk, passed by the canoe statue, which I swear was missing a couple canoes, made my way down Speedway. By the way, the bricks, I mean, no cracks at all, high quality stuff. Very, very impressive. So I walked down Speedway, went around the construction at Welch, and made my way to Greg Gym. From there, the Amazon office teleported me back to 2018. It was quite an adventure. Last semester, I was given a fortune cookie with a little piece of paper on it that said, "The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams." Now this far surpasses my other fortune. About time I got out of that cookie, which I traded in for an egg roll. what is it that fascinates us about the future? We look to the past with praises and criticisms. The past is the story of how experiences became us. But the future? You see, what's beautiful about life is that it's risky, which by definition means it contains the possibility of failure. It contains the possibility of future loss. In other words, life contains the possibility of changing us. What does it mean to get a degree from this school? I remember freshman year, right before I started, I Googled, what is college like? Now the bloggers gave some helpful descriptions, such as, you'll be surrounded with like-minded people, or you will wake up at 7 a.m., head to the library after class, and use the weekdays to rest up for the weekend. But amidst this university propaganda, I found an interesting quote, a young man who stated simply, "When I left college, my brain felt full." Now there's some truth to that, but thinking about it now, we've been taking in knowledge since we were born up until college. And I don't know about you, but I've never had any of this brain fullness. So I'm wondering if his brain was full or if it was just exhausted. Now, unfortunately, the word learning gets a little misused because sitting in front of your laptop on the 4th floor of the PCL is only one type of learning. For example, spatial intelligence describes the ability to visualize with the mind's eye. In other words, it's what allows you to design an imaginary building, or rotate an object in your mind, or walk home from Whataburger without a map. And if you think this is only for engineers, you have not tried visualizing the difference between the FIFO and LIFO accounting methods. Yes, that was directed towards our rival, Cockrell School of Engineering. Another example is interpersonal intelligence, one that you worked on with every group project, and especially your freshman year roommate. I find this to be one of the most valuable intelligences. After all, what's the point of making a petrochemical distillation column if you can't sell it? Thank you. The bottom line is, we've had a smorgasbord of learning. And maybe that's what it means to be a graduate from Macomb School of Business. That not only were we assigned course material, but we were challenged in life material, which happens to have the possibility of changing us. What are you doing next spring? If you haven't been asked this question, you're at the wrong ceremony. But kidding aside, the truth is that when spring starts, we take another risk. Just as when we first came to UT, we will have the opportunity to fail, the opportunity to lose something. I want to share with you one of the greatest things that I've learned in college. And no, I never figured out why printing costs money, why there's Ski Wild posters in every classroom, or how to sit comfortably in a UTC chair. But I did learn my tendency to look for success in my grades. And not just in my grades, but any label that could signify coolness or successful to someone else. See, when school got in the way of my education, I measured myself with my professor's yardstick. When grades got in the way of my learning, my satisfaction was a balance sheet. Either I was in or I was out. Wherever we go next, there's going to be a metaphorical grade report, a measure of success from someone else. But I want to encourage us to step out of that mindset. I want to encourage us to do something great. One of my favorite quotes is this: "We don't grow up when we can take care of ourselves. We grow up when we can take care of others and choose to do so." There's another type of intelligence, existential intelligence, which tackles the deepest questions of human life. Now, I'll spare you a discussion of my philosophy course material, but I will tell you a story. Your story. A long, long time ago, you lived on a beautiful island. You grew up with family and friends, learning things like culture and art. But every time you saw the waves, you felt this yearning as though the ocean was calling to you through the voices of your ancestors. Now, you may be saying, oh, hold up, Luke, this is just a plot to Moana. But wait, because this story really is about you. See, the years on the island formed you. It was a time of education, of good fortune and misfortune, of peace and puberty, until finally, one day, you are ready to sail. Colleagues, you have reached a point in your life where you will go out into the ocean. You will choose which people to bring on board, and some will even sneak on. You'll need to set a course to navigate, to practice your steering. There's countless places to go and sailors to meet. So, as you can imagine, embarking into the great blue is risky. Which is why I want to encourage all of us to do something great. Look, we can plan our course as much as we want, but we can't plan the wind and the waves. The best journey on paper may not be the best journey on water. When our boat takes off in a few weeks, we will recognize what we have truly learned on the island. Maybe it'll be the songs you sing when the sun is out, songs you sang with old friends. Maybe it'll be the way you realize you're holding the steering wheel, just as your mother did. Maybe it'll be the way you anchor your boat in the face of storms, as you learned from a wise professor. And, amidst it all, you will be faced with a deeper question. You will pass islands with treasure chests of gold, but not a sound. You will pass islands full of welcoming strangers and beaches, scrolls of great ideas. And you will pass the islands of those who cannot care for themselves, who wait for captains like you to bring them aboard. Wherever you go, you will be faced with a risk, because the places you stop, the people you bring in, they will change you. So what does it mean to get a degree from McCombs here at UT Austin? For me, it is the end of a beautiful phase of life. It is the certificate to climb aboard and start another journey. And if you're like me, then your brain isn't full at all. In fact, I'd say it's a little hungry. Congratulations, fellow class of 2018. Thank you.
Thank you, Luke. As an accounting professor, that shout out to FIFO LIFO, it was the first I've heard at a graduation, so thank you very much. Today's distinguished commencement speaker is the Tad and Diane Taub Director of the Hoover Institution at Stanford University. Dr. Thomas Gilligan. He's also my former boss, and I'm delighted to have him here with us on this special day. Tom Gilligan assumed the role of director at the Hoover Institution in September of 2015. As a scholar in economics and political science, he also serves as a senior fellow with areas of research including microeconomics, applied price theory, industrial organization, antitrust economics, and public choice. Prior to joining the Hoover Institution, Dr. Gilligan was dean here at the McCombs School of Business. In fact, he was dean when most of you began at Texas McCombs. In that sense, he launched your transformative undergraduate journey. During his 7 years at UT, Tom created and led many important initiatives that built the McCombs School's core disciplines while increasing the school's prominence in energy, healthcare, and other areas. Tom was particularly dedicated to the undergraduate students, having previously been vice dean of undergraduate education at the Marshall School of Business at the University of Southern California, and was instrumental here in raising funds to support a dramatic increase in BBA scholarships. Dr. Gilligan earned his BA at the University of Oklahoma. We all make mistakes. And he redeemed himself with his PhD in economics at Washington University in St. Louis. He has held visiting appointments at Stanford, at Northwestern. He was a staff economist at the Council of Economic Advisors in the Reagan White House. He also served 4 years in the United States Air Force. And I'm delighted to have him here with us today. Please welcome Dr. Thomas Gilligan.
Thanks, Eric. Thanks for that kind introduction. Thank you for the nice welcome. I'm still trying to overcome my time at Oklahoma. I'll continue to this day to do that. Well, I want to thank Eric, you, and Dean Hartzell for the invitation to address this fall's graduates and to do what I can to offer some useful advice. Before doing so, though, I'd like to acknowledge the parents, loved ones, friends who encouraged and supported today's graduates through their academic journeys. I know I speak for all the graduates when I say that their accomplishments would not have been possible without your steadfast commitment to aiding them in this consequential endeavor. I know this is a proud day for those of you who contributed to the achievements that we are now celebrating. Congratulations to all of you who helped. I think you all deserve a robust round of applause. I'd also like to take a moment to acknowledge the faculty and staff of the McCombs School of Business and the University of Texas for the contributions they've made to this occasion. One of the great privileges of my life was to serve as the Dean of the McCombs School of Business. During this time, I became acutely aware of the intellect, professionalism, and commitment of those who educate and support the students who come to the 40 acres. I know how thankful our graduates are for the dedication and efforts you've shown them during their brief stay here. Congratulations on the excellence you continue to display towards educating tomorrow's leaders. Will you all join me in a round of applause to appreciate our great faculty and staff? And lastly, to today's graduates, way to go. Congratulations. I know you've worked hard to earn this very prestigious degree. I'm sure that the education you received here at UT will serve you well for many years to come. I also understand that you've suffered through some arduous academic challenges. I'm sure you recall fondly those freshman semesters in calculus and economics. Wasn't that fun? And how are you ever going to replicate the pleasant experiences you had in intermediate accounting? LIFO, FIFO again, how about that? You've made many great memories here indeed. I hope they remain fresh in your minds for a very long time. I have considerable faith that your future will be bright and offer tremendous potential for success and happiness. I say this for two reasons. First, while the world has its share of struggles and challenges, protecting our physical environment and addressing various forms of inequality chief amongst them, you are beginning your careers at a propitious time. We are living during a period of dramatic advancements in living standards and progress in the human condition. Poverty, malnutrition, illiteracy, child labor, and infant mortality are falling faster than at any other time in human history. Life expectancy at birth has increased more than twice as much in the last century as it did in the previous 200,000 years. The risk that an individual will be exposed to war, die in a natural disaster, or subjected to a dictatorship has become smaller than in any other epoch. A child born today is more likely to reach retirement age than her forebears were to live to their 5th birthday. You have more opportunities and fewer constraints than any generation, and I expect you'll make very good use of these conditions. Secondly, you are all high-ability people who've chosen to invest in one of the most selective and highly regarded undergraduate business educations in the world. Research suggests that you will enjoy generous returns on your investment and that your skills and productivity will benefit your friends and coworkers regardless of their levels of educational attainment. Studies also suggest that the experiences and skills acquired in school reverberate throughout all facets of life, not just through higher earnings. School affects the degree to which one enjoys work and the likelihood of being unemployed. It leads individuals to make better decisions about health, marriage, and parenting. It also improves patience, makes individuals more goal-oriented and less likely to engage in risky behavior, unhealthy risky behavior, not profitable risky behavior. Education improves trust and social interaction and enriches one's life. You've positioned yourself quite well for the future. Congratulations for all you've accomplished over the past years at McCombs. I want to add a few more remarks. I want to add something to the introduction that Eric made of me so you can put some context into my remarks that follow. First, I'm the father of 3 children, ages 21 through 28. The 2 oldest are recent graduates. The youngest is now a junior in college. According to the data that Dean Platt shared with me, this age range encompasses nearly all of the graduates before me here today. Like nearly all parents, I often think about my children's needs and the things that I should do or say in attempting to make their lives better. Some of what I'm going to say today will come from that collection, something my kids disparagingly refer to as Dad's old records. Second, I'm a strong believer in the very old idea that art can embody important truths for living, especially for interacting with others. Inasmuch as nearly all of the wisdom of humanity's great religions is communicated chiefly through literature, the Bible, the Quran, the Bhagavad Gita, for example, I feel I'm on solid footing in making this claim. I want to use the truths of a very old movie to frame my remarks today. The movie's title is Black Orpheus. It's a romantic tragedy made in 1959 by the French director Marcel Camus. The screenplay is an adaptation of the Greek legend of Orpheus and Eurydice, a story about love's passion and its defeat at the hands of evil and hell itself. Both Orpheus and Eurydice die near the end of the film. Shot in the slums of Rio de Janeiro during Carnival, the movie is an energetic and colorful masterpiece with musical scores credited for introducing American audiences to Latin music, including the samba. The movie won the Academy Award for Best Foreign Language Film in 1960. Like almost any romantic tragedy, Black Orpheus is a story of the dreams of young lovers dashed by the perils of a society filled with evil and jealousy. As in the ancient myth, Orpheus in the movie is a gifted musician. 2 boys, Benedetto and Zecca, are mesmerized by Orpheus's talents and are convinced that his morning guitar playing causes the sun to rise each day. We believe these things as young boys sometimes. In the final scene of the movie, the morning after Orpheus's death, Benedetto insists that Zecca pick up the guitar and play so the sun will rise. Zecca plays, and lo and behold, the sun comes up. A little girl appears, gives Zecca a single flower, and the 3 children dance away under Brazil's brilliant morning sun. The artistry of the scene is stunning. This final scene of Black Orpheus shows even in the midst of profound loss and tragedy, both of which enter all of our lives at some point, the human experience also contains much joy and pleasure. The innocence and optimism of the 3 children make this point evident. And the newly found relationship between Zecca and the young girl, the final scene also reminds us that life goes on. But the final scene of Black Orpheus also illustrates at least 3 important lessons that I'd like to share with you today. First, obviously, the scene illustrates the value of perseverance. One of your fellow graduates exemplifies the utility of this important trait. Drew Stubbs left UT in 2006 before graduating, but after being drafted in the first round of the Major League Baseball draft. He went on to play for the Cleveland Indians, the Atlanta Braves, the Texas Rangers, the Baltimore Orioles, and the San Francisco Giants. Even the less knowledgeable among us understand that in baseball, the best hitters fail 2/3 of the time, and the better teams win only slightly more often than they lose. Not to be denied on the academic front either, Drew returned to UT last summer and this fall completed the requirements for the BBA degree 15 years after he began his journey on the 40 acres. Congratulations, Drew, on your success in fulfilling your dreams to play Major League Baseball and complete your college degree. Like Drew and Benedetto and Zecca, I'd encourage all of you to work to cultivate the ability to persevere and carry on even when life throws you curveballs. There's another perhaps less obvious lesson that flows from the final scene in Black Orpheus. Benedetto and Zecca act on their belief that the mellifluous sounds of a guitar in the morning causes the sun to rise. Given the current state of scientific knowledge, most of us would consider this a bent view of reality. Yet acting on this belief enables the resiliency and promotes the healing required to carry on in the wake of the tragic deaths of Orpheus and Eurydice. The second lesson from the last scene reminds us that it is a paradox of the human condition that objectively dubious beliefs can often spur extraordinary human accomplishments. Let me draw an example of the value of a bent view of reality from the realm of business. In Walter Isaacson's famous biography, he discusses Steve Jobs' ability to push people to accomplish seemingly impossible tasks. For example, causing Steve Wozniak to create the game Breakout in 4 days instead of the several months Wozniak believed it would take. Causing Larry Kenyon to drastically reduce the boot-up time of the Macintosh when Kenyon and the other computer engineers thought this scientifically impossible. And in general, causing the teams at Apple to change the course of computer history with a small fraction of the resources of its larger rivals, Xerox and IBM. Steve Jobs' ability to bend reality, to see things differently, caused him to take unique and productive views of what was indeed possible. There's at least one person in your class today able to see a future that is better and quite distinct from the past. Since the dawn of history, slavery and exploitation have been scourges of the human condition. Alas, these maladies persist today. Before arriving on the 40 acres, Adriel Morgan took a gap year to work for Priceless's anti-trafficking team in Australia, India, and South Africa. She also was an Archer Fellow in Washington, D.C., and a Governor's Fellow in Texas, enabling her to work with many groups to learn more about the history and policy of addressing child sex trafficking. She intends to use her considerable talents, including the knowledge she acquired while here at UT, to confront this important global challenge. We all wish you the best, Adriel, and admire your vision to make the sun rise for many of the world's most imperiled people. Well done. The third and final lesson of Black Orpheus is the power of belief in human agency. In both the final and earlier scenes in the movie, Benedetto and Zecca cause, in their minds, the sun to rise by ensuring that the musical instrument is played at the appropriate time. Imagine the audacity of two boys from the slums assuming the responsibility to bring light to the people of Rio de Janeiro. But an audacious belief in the power of individuals to change the world is indeed the hallmark of cutting-edge leadership. And what this belief is really about is the willingness to take responsibility for meaningful achievements from beginning to end. Let me give you a couple examples. As a new college graduate, Wendy Knopp established Teach for America in 1988 to develop and mobilize as many of our nation's promising young leaders to grow and strengthen the movement for educational equality and excellence. Since its inception, Teach for America has enlisted over 50,000 recent college graduates who have collectively taught more than 5 million students in disadvantaged urban and rural school districts. Wendy Knopp improved the educational opportunities for millions by taking beginning to end responsibility for expanding the educational opportunities of America's most challenged students. Steve Jobs changed the personal computing world by assuring that hardware, software, and peripheral devices were seamlessly integrated. Jobs and Apple took beginning to end responsibility for the user experience, something that too few companies had done up to that point. After entering UT as an honors engineering student in 1967, Bill Moore left school at the end of his sophomore year to support his family and raise his children with his wife, Judy. After a 51-year absence, 2 sons, 5 grandchildren, and a successful career in real estate, Bill now works to inspire troubled youth. And finally, he can add to his accomplishments a degree from the University of Texas. I'm sure that his classmates and grandson, Walker Moore, join us all in congratulating Bill and the entire Moore family. One great lesson for us all. Like Benedetto and Zecca and Wendy Knopp, Steve Jobs, and Bill Moore, assume beginning to end responsibility for achieving something of substantial value to people and mankind. It's well within your grasp to do, and you will be blessed both by the efforts and the resulting achievements. And you will have lived up to one of your obligations as graduates of the University of Texas, which of course is to change the world. Congratulations to you all, and hook 'em horns.
Thank you, Tom. Dr. David Platt is the Macomb School's Associate Dean for Undergraduate Programs and a faculty member in the Department of Accounting, the nation's #1 Department of Accounting. Yeah. Dean Platt is here to present this year's degree candidates.
Well, good afternoon. I think it's safe to say this is the moment you've been waiting for. It's now time to individually recognize the members of the Fall 2018 graduating class of the Macomb School of Business. Graduates, before I invite you to the stage, I'd like to take just a moment to acknowledge, as others have done, the efforts of the faculty and staff of the Macomb School BBA program. They are dedicated to their work. They greeted you at orientation when you arrived all those years ago. They helped you find classes and jobs. They tested you, they taught you, and today they honor your accomplishments as you move on in your life. They are seated behind me, around the room, and please join me briefly in congratulating them as well. For our guests, you will notice that many of the students are wearing various cords or medallions around their necks. These are indicators of special accomplishment. The burnt orange cords, they're worn by college scholars, and the bronze medallions are worn by distinguished college scholars. These are symbols of academic achievement that reflect the grade point average earned by the students during their junior and senior years. Students wearing blue and green cords have added a global dimension to their business education by participating in a Macomb's BBA Study Abroad program. Students wearing red and gold cords are graduates of the Canfield Business Honors Program. And students wearing bronze medallions on burnt orange ribbons are graduates of the Macomb's Leadership Program. We will now call the students to the stage by major. Please note, they are not required to be in alphabetical order so that they can sit with their friends. Graduates, we've provided a photographer to take a picture of you with Dean Hurst, so please, no selfies on the stage. Now, will the degree candidates please stand when directed? Proceed to the stage for recognition. Dean Hurst will make a presentation to each of you, assisted by BBA Assistant Dean Arthur Allert. As you cross the stage, as you finish crossing the stage, I will move your tassel from right to left to symbolize the successful completion of your undergraduate studies. Then please return to your seat, remain there until everyone has been recognized and the ceremony has concluded. The ushers will assist you. We will begin by recognizing the students from accounting. Here to acknowledge these degree candidates is Dr. Christina Zvenakis, Senior Lecturer and Assistant Chair in the Accounting Department.
Evan Ray Garza. Drew Decker Rainkin. Nancy Biza. Eric Guillermo Trevino. Young Wan Kang. Dylan Carlisle Wood. Gabriel Andre Mejija. David Godek. Jacob Jonathan Duval. Shan Liu. Jun Zhang. Shelby Jerka. Samantha Angelica Gutierrez. Yuying Sylvia Bai. To be clear, these are the MPA graduates. I'm sorry, I cut Dave off. All right. Xian Hao Men. Yutong Wang. Krisha Desai. Ying Chen. Jing Veronica Shu. Suhasini Jaychandar. Nicholas Patrick Magallanes. Landon Bruce Bain. Michael Cutler. Philip Andrew Carter. Jae Young Park. Unjay Shah. Jack Berlanga. Haishu Zhang. Sarah Margaret Dickin. Victoria Peranian.
Next, we will recognize students in the Canfield Business Honors Program. Dr. Andres Almazan, the professor of the Bank of America, Centennial Fellow and Professor in the Department of Finance, is here today to acknowledge these degree candidates.
Regan O'Neill Stewart. Brian Andrew Minkus. Micah David Pock.
This time we will recognize our finance majors. Mrs. Regina Hughes, Distinguished Senior Lecturer in Finance and Director of the Texas Business Foundation's program, will acknowledge these degree candidates.
Kirk Preston Silas. Joshua Kevin Mott. Jack Timothy McKibben. Valerie Lavrentova. Solomon Ezekiel Nichols. Justin Taylor Robles. Iris Shue. Alizban Aziz Ali. Liping Joseph Chin. Kevin Utama Basri. Praneeth Pasala. Nolan Lewis Fogelman. Mark Royce Kilday. Derek Austin Kramer. Mike Den. Ryan McGee Roberts. Spencer Hyatt Mangum. Joe Franklin Carita. Alan Aziz. Candace Wilson. Janewin Yao. Charles Davis Golson III. Samuel Gray Sawhook. Michael Warren Armour. Katrick Shreyas Sridhar. William Russell Reed. Didor Nabari Precious Ogidi. Megan Brianna Hildreth. Daniel Enrique Carcamo. Daniel Anthony Breen IV. Sina Godsey. Carlos Andres Casas de Leon. Joseph Reed Carty. Graham Charles Warner. Katie Leanne Wooden. And I will forever be able to say, I said your grandfather's name at graduation, William Marvin Moore.
Okay, we will now recognize students in our Management Information Systems, Science and Technology Management, and Supply Chain Management majors. Dr. Betsy Greenberg, Associate Professor in the Department of Information Risk and Operations Management, is here today to acknowledge these degree candidates.
Noshin Ismail Lalani. Sahithi Tupori. Melanie Marie Harrell. Jenna Lee Slagle. Sharon Ree Pan. Andy Nang Pham. Kirthi Kuripul Lee. Zenu William Zhang. Jacob Colton Peel. Atticus Christopher Ross Fountain. Jack Christopher Meyer. Letitia Ritsu. Simran Tucker. Nancy Jingyi Liu. Muna Sweel Mariel. Mariana Juarez Casar. Brian Terry Smith H's. Michael Holland Willingham. Jason Luis Rodriguez. Lauren Paige Svetlik. Mercedes Duel de la Cruz. Jessica Renee Bonner. Shayna Harchad Patel. Tracy Chia. Morgan Taylor Wood. John Randall Norton III. Jaden Dan Fuquay. Trace Ross Cheetah. Super Tadia. The next graduates are in supply chain management. Anish Baral. Nishad Nadir. Dumani. Ashley Jung King. Thomas Keith Mayer, Jr. Lauren Nicole Lawson. Ryan James Pearson. Campbell Austin Westmoreland. Christiana Velez. Nicole Elizabeth Walker. Alexander Paul Little.
Next, we will recognize the students in the management major. Dr. Christy Loescher, Senior Lecturer in the Management Department and Director of Curriculum and Community Engagement in the McCombs Healthcare Initiative, is here to acknowledge these degree candidates.
Nikki Zahedi.
Yeah, Nikki!
Chloe Powells-Lutomsky. Virgil Sebastian Mancha, Jr. Meher Kaur Gill. Crystal Rose Brent. Stacy Shawn. Andrea Marwan Yazbek. Adriel Elizabeth Morgan. Andrew Edward Allen. Mariah Katrina Solomon. Robert Andrew Stubbs. Kyle Bradley Dudney. Ruman Ahmed Mayman. Luke James Heffernan.
We conclude by recognizing students in our marketing and international business majors. Dr. Linda Golden, Professor of Marketing and the Joseph H. Blades Professor of Risk Management and Insurance, is here today to acknowledge these degree candidates.
Jonathan Carmen Ferri. Karina Verk. Ivan Gutierrez. Matthew Molloy Salas. Henry Martin Blanchard. Brittany Nicole Gregg. David Stevens Murph. Julie Choi. Upurva Dev Saradev Anra. Jacqueline Victoria Garza. Samantha
Samantha K. Rodriguez. Megan Jeanette O'Connor. Megan Lee Tester. Bhavna Reddy Kananpuram. Lauren Michelle Canella. Sierra Nicole Argia. Luz Catalina Perez. Catherine Nicole Shepard. Laura Taylor Izagira. Brian Michael Castelli. Catherine Lauren Heineman. Catherine Ann Murphy. Mariana Quina. Sarah Nicole Trevino. David Parker Aguirre. Arsalan Akbar Ali. Uziha Enzali Kalfani. Hannah Christian Held. Emily Shuyan Fu. Rebecca Shuwan Fu. Eli N. Khan. Karen Yali Gialdo. Charles Polly Malkin.
How about a big round of applause for all the graduates? And another round of applause for all those who have supported them on this jersey. Will the families and friends please stand? Now it is my turn to speak. Today marks the first day of the rest of your lives as Texas X's. You are now part of one of the largest and most powerful alumni networks in the world, and your university needs you to stay connected, stay informed, and always care about the value of the degree you just earned and the continued pursuit of excellence at our university. Here to tell you about the McCombs Alumni Network is the president of the McCombs BBA Advisory Board, Mr. John Briscoe. John graduated from the McCombs School in 1981 with a degree in accounting. After a distinguished 35-year career in accounting and in the energy industry, he retired from Bristow Group in 2015 as Senior Vice President and Chief Financial Officer. Now a part-time consultant, Mr. Briscoe serves on several local boards and advisory committees in the Houston area. Please welcome Mr. John Briscoe.
Thank you. And I want to personally congratulate all of the graduates, and in particular, since I am also a parent, all of the parents, and thank you for all of your support to these graduates. First, give me a moment to take this occasion in. While, like you, I believe my opportunities are limited only by the goals I set, when I sat where you sit today, I never expected to be speaking at a future commencement. So thank you. As the last formal presenter, I promise to keep my remarks short, so you only need to shift in your chair one more time, and you won't have time for another text message or selfie. All of the great presenters before me have told you what a great day this is, and some have spoken to you about the future. My comments are totally focused on the future, your future career, and how you can maximize that career and your life experiences. Right now, you are surrounded by your fellow McCombs graduates. Take a moment and look around. Some you know well and have been in the same classes with you, but there are some that you don't know. If you have not met the person beside you, in front of you, or behind you, I encourage you to take a minute before you leave and introduce yourself. For these fellow graduates, all McCombs alumni as of right now, are keys to your future success, whether in a multinational corporation, entrepreneurial startup, nonprofit, or maybe all of these during your entire career. Don't misunderstand me. You have the primary responsibility for your future success. But your fellow alumni are a multiplier that is greater than you realize today. In the not-too-distant future, the contacts you made at McCombs will provide opportunities and open doors in ways that you and your fellow graduates do not fully appreciate today. They will do this because you will do the same for them. You will find a common bond with McCombs alumni at future employers, and you will recognize the strength that a McCombs alumni will bring to a project team or as a new hire, just as fellow alumni will recognize the same in you. You will cross paths with McCombs graduates you haven't seen for some time and realize you're in the same industry. One has experience the other can draw upon, or a connection to an opportunity that wasn't otherwise available. So if you now have these multipliers that sit next to you in this room, let's multiply the multipliers. McCombs alumni are almost 100,000 strong. When you become active in the McCombs Alumni Network, you continue to draw from the strength of this great institution, and you are connected to the entire alumni base. The common bond with this great school will give you an opportunity to open doors and further expand your network. I don't want you to connect with the McCombs Alumni Network so that you will make a monetary contribution in the future. I want you to connect with the McCombs Alumni Network because if you do, you will realize the benefits of the Alumni Network beyond what you can possibly expect today. Just as I did, and you won't be able to stop yourself from contributing and becoming even more involved in the McCombs Alumni Network. Now, because I still have some time left, you can take out your phone and connect to the McCombs Business School on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. Do you have your phones out? You can also sign up on the McCombs Alumni webpage and receive emails on upcoming alumni events and local chapters in the U.S. and international. The McCombs local chapters are a great way to connect with fellow alumni, participate in engaging, insightful, and fun events while expanding your network of contacts with fellow alumni. Thank you for your time. I wish you all the success you aspire to, and don't hesitate to connect with me as well.
Well, thank you, John. To close our ceremony, it is traditional that we all join new graduates in singing The Eyes of Texas. We're not there yet. As Tom Gilligan mentioned earlier, amongst our graduating seniors is a very special senior who is graduating. And I want to add my congratulations to freshly minted Texas Ex Bill Moore, who at an age when most of us are starting to think about kicking back a bit, completed 18 tough credit hours this semester to become the most seasoned of this group of graduates. Let Bill and others in the class be a reminder to all of us that the learning never really ends. Joining Bill will be Katie Wooden, a fellow finance major and graduate who has dedicated a good portion of her undergraduate years to working in a Texas BBA program office. So, please stand and join me in welcoming Bill Moore and Katie Wooden, who will now lead us in singing The Eyes of Texas. And congratulations to the class of 2018.